Inho spread his arms and addressed the survivors, declaring that there was an emergency announcement. Due to the worsening situation, he announced that only those who joined the search party would be allowed to receive food. Inside, he cursed the unexpected penalty, wondering if Dokja had somehow predicted it, though he dismissed that possibility. At that moment, Huiwan looked down at her hands in horror. Her biscuit was gone. Dokja glanced at her and reminded her that he had warned her to eat it earlier. Then, turning his gaze toward Inho, he silently noted that Inho must be thinking the same thing as him. A system window appeared before Dokja. You have successfully read the mind of Inho Cheon. Your understanding of Inho Cheon has increased. Dokja knew Inho remained suspicious of him, but he also realized that Inho couldn't be certain he had predicted the food penalty. Huiwan, having noticed Dokja's composed demeanor, asked if he had known this would happen. Dokja replied that he had only suspected it. He had simply imagined what the Dokebi would do to cause the greatest suffering. Internally, though, he admitted that even he hadn't anticipated a survival fee penalty. Another system window popped up. The category, survival fee, has been added. 100 coins will be withdrawn daily at midnight as a survival fee. You will die if you have insufficient funds. The survival fee will be collected until the second main scenario is cleared. Dokja questioned whether the contract he signed with Bihyung had altered the events of the original novel. Just then, Hyunsong approached, worried. He asked whether they should join the search party too. Dokja immediately rejected the idea. The surface was a death trap, he said. Instead, he proposed finding a new food source that matched the changed world. As Hyunsong tried to grasp his meaning, Dokja confirmed it. They were going monster hunting. Later, Dokja, Sangha, Gilyong, Hyunsong, and Huiwan stood at the edge of the railway. Inho approached them and sarcastically wished them luck, saying they'd be the team to complete the scenario. Dokja could tell that Inho was simply glad he wouldn't interfere with his group. More system windows appeared. Your understanding of Inho Cheon has increased. Your understanding of Inho Cheon has passed a threshold level. Dokja reflected that each time he earned trust, guessed a person's thoughts, or made a favorable impression, his understanding of that character increased. With this higher level of understanding, he could now read Inho's emotions and thoughts. One more system window popped up. Inho Cheon is suspicious of your intentions. Sure enough, Inho soon asked if a member of his group could accompany Dokja's party. He was eager to find out how the scenario could be cleared. Later, while exploring the railway, Han suddenly screamed at the sight of corpses. He panicked and clung to Sangha, who appeared unfazed. Lee, Huiwan, and Dokja watched him with thinly veiled irritation. Hyunsong quietly asked Dokja if it was really okay to let Han tag along. Dokja reassured him that Han was harmless. Turning to Huiwan, Hyunsong expressed concern for her injuries, but Huiwan insisted he should be more worried about Lee. She pointed out that they were walking into danger and questioned whether they were going to just charge ahead. Hyunsong admitted he'd been thinking the same and suggested sending Lee and the women back. Huiwan objected, stating that while she might not be as strong as him, she practiced kendo and could fight. As Hyunsong began to argue, Dokja interrupted. He reminded them that the world had changed a few days ago. Strength was no longer about gender or age, but about stats. Turning to Gilyong, Dokja told him to demonstrate. The boy crouched down, placed his hands on the ground, and emitted a faint light that traveled along the rails until it touched a cockroach. Sangha gasped. Han cursed at the sight of the insect. Gilyong explained that his attribute was bug collector and that he could communicate with insects. A system message appeared. Character Gilyong Lee has activated the skill, interspecies communication. The insect had told him that the path ahead was clear for the next 100 steps. Gilyong thanked Huiwan for her concern and asserted that he didn't come to be a burden. Huiwan simply nodded, then observed that human corpses weren't the only ones present. No wonder the area smelled of blood. Sangha commented that the path ahead looked unnaturally dark, as though a wall blocked the way. As Hyunsong reached out to touch it, system windows suddenly appeared in front of them. A new sub-scenario has arrived. Sub-scenario, hunting for food. Category, sub, difficulty E. Clear conditions, hunt and cook a monster that you can consume as food. Time limit, none. Rewards? 500 coins? Penalty for failure? Before they could react, one of them spotted a creature and shouted in fear. It was a monster. Dokja quickly recognized it as a Tier 9 subterranean ground rat. He recalled that these creatures lived underground, hunted in packs, and were extremely persistent. The tunnels between stations would be crawling with them. When Huiwan asked who could have done such a thing, Dokja knew the answer instantly. Junghyuk Yu. Hyunsung wondered if the dead monsters lying nearby would count toward the scenario goal. Dokja doubted it. The instructions said they had to hunt the monsters themselves. Hyunsung sighed and asked how they were supposed to cook them. Dokja turned to Huiwan and asked about her kendo skills. She scratched her head and replied modestly. Sometime later, they had all armed themselves with makeshift weapons. Huiwan remarked that it felt like they had gone back to the Stone Age. Dokja advised them to sharpen their weapons with rocks. System windows appeared. You have successfully obtained weapons using your intellect. A few constellations are interested in this primitiveness of humans. The constellations have gifted you 100 coins. Dokja knew what to do. TDUSA had detailed guides on butchering monsters. Sangha commented on Dokja's skill with making a weapon. Dokja asked the group if they still had coins left. He instructed them to invest in strength, stamina, and agility, leaving just enough for the survival fee. It was harsh, but he reminded them that survival wasn't guaranteed. His companions looked at him in shock. Moments later, a pack of ground rats emerged. A system message appeared. Sub-scenario, hunting for food has begun. The battle commenced. Hyunsung skewered one rat and lifted it into the air. Huiwan dodged another and cut it cleanly in two. Gilyoung knocked a rat down and Sangha finished it. Dokja split one in half. Dokja observed that the group was performing well. Huiwan ran up and asked how many he had killed. Dokja replied, 4. She clicked her tongue. She had only managed 2. Proudly, Hyunsung said he killed 3. Dokja was surprised. He hadn't gone all out, and yet Hyunsung had nearly matched him. A system window appeared. Character profile. Name, Hyunsung Lee. Age 28. Supporting constellation, Master of Steel. Personal attribute, soldier who turned a blind eye to injustice, common. Personal skills, Camouflage Live 1, Patience Live 1, Sense of Justice Live 1, Weapons Proficiency Live 2. Stigma, Great Mountain Push of 1. Overall stats, Stamina of 12, Strength, Agility of 9, Man of 6. General evaluation, Hyunsung's attribute will soon evolve. The character trusts and regards you highly. This character's supporting constellation is cautious of you. Starter pack currently being used. Dokja was astonished. He recalled that the starter pack was a premium bonus given to incarnations whose average stats were under level 10. It boosted each stat by 1 and granted weapons proficiency. He glared slightly, feeling envious. No wonder Hyunsung was so strong. The Master of Steel had clearly taken a liking to him. Sangha asked how they were supposed to cook the rats, since they couldn't eat them raw. Dokja said they couldn't eat them yet, but they'd figure it out. The others looked at him suspiciously. Hyunsung finally asked the question everyone had been thinking. Did Dokja know something about what was happening? Dokja silently noted that this must be how regressors felt. Some lied, some claimed they had a hunch. From a reader's perspective, the best response was, system windows popped up. The constellation, Secretive Plotter, looks forward to your decision. Several constellations are looking forward to your answer, to avoid answering questions altogether. Just then, a scream tore through the air. Han. Dokja smirked to himself. Well done, Mr. Han. Everyone turned. A ground rat had clamped its jaws on Han's leg and was dragging him away. Han screamed, begging for help. A system window popped up. The constellation, Secretive Plotter, nods in agreement. Sangha threw her weapon toward him. Here, grab on. Han clung to it, but the rat was too strong. It dragged both of them underground. Hyunsung shouted her name in panic. Gilyoung glanced at Dokja, who remained calm. Huiwan pressed a hand to her forehead in frustration, muttering that she knew Han would get them into trouble.